Welcome to this beginner-friendly poster tutorial. I will be guiding you step by step to make this poster on your own. Let's jump right to it. I already had my Illustrator open. Let's press Create New. Choose Letter Preset. If you didn't see one upon Create New, look for it under Print section. Or you could simply copy the height and the width displayed here. Select RGB as color mode, and raster effects 150 ppi, leave the rest on default and press Create. On raster effects PPI setting, the higher the PPI the sharper the objects are when you zoom in, though at the cost of performance, which will be visible when the project starts having many objects. 150 ppi is balanced between performance and graphics. Document color mode enables you to change color mode on the go. RGB is preferable for digital images, while CMYK is suitable for printing, since we are making a digital poster that is used to be shared on social media, we will use RGB. Let's start with the most basic tool on Illustrator, Shape tool. Let's begin by using Rectangle tool. Simply left-click and drag the mouse to reshape the rectangle. Press V for quick shortcut to Selection tool. Drag selection using Selection tool to select multiple objects and drag to reposition. Click first, then hold Shift to move an object with perfect accuracy horizontally and vertically with purple line as indicator. After selecting Shape tool, hold left click then hold Shift to resize shape proportionately. Release left click then release Shift when the size of the rectangle is good for you. Proportionately means both the width and height in relation to each other scales the same. To resize from the middle of the rectangle instead of expanding outside, click and hold left click, then hold Shift and Alt then drag the mouse. Now, the shape expands from the middle. Click here or press X while selecting a shape, to swap the shape fill and outline color. Make sure our workspace is set to Essential Classic to make sure we have most tools we need today. You can press Reset Essential Classic if you accidentally changed the tool's position or removed a tool from the toolbar. On Properties tab, we can change information about our shape like size, color, position etc. On Fill we can change the color of our shape, while on Stroke we can change the stroke line color. To make stroke visible and bigger or smaller, change the PT value on the stroke right. Let's use the Star tool. Modify the points to add or remove a point from the star. To rotate, hover on the corners of the shape until the icon change with two arrows on it, then drag. Hold Shift while dragging to make the rotation snap to 45 degrees for accurate rotation. Drag on white box on one of the corners to shorten or make the shape longer on one side. Next up, we are going to learn how to make a pattern. First let's prepare a rectangle to make a basic layout of our pattern. We want to make only select our star shape, not the guide. To do this we need to go to the Layers panel, find the guide and lock it. Locking a layer means the position will not be able to be changed. If we want to change it, we have to remove the lock by clicking on the lock again. Select all shapes using selection tool, then change the properties to make changes to all shapes at the same time. Alright, now our pattern is ready. Let's go to Object on top toolbar and find Object, go to Pattern, press Make. Now our pattern has been added to swatch. We will customize this pattern. Now our pattern is ready, we can delete these objects. They won't affect our new pattern. Also, a little lesson about guides I will show now. On View menu, Guides, there are some cool options we can do with guides. First, lock guides will lock guides like in Layers panel. Hide guides makes guides invincible, show guides will unhide the guides. And clear guides will delete guides. Note that doing this on View menu affect every single guide. To do this individually, press Lock an eye icon on Layers panel. Time to put our pattern into display. Let's make a rectangle on the size of our artboard. Let's scale it from the top left corner to the bottom right corner. Now go to Fill, and select our recently made pattern. On Object, Transform menu, we will learn how to control our pattern scale and rotation. On File menu, go to Place to browse the location we store the penguin image we will use in this tutorial. Now hold left click while pressing Shift to resize it to the size we want. If you accidentally immediately left click, we can just resize it again. Align menu on properties is one of the most useful features in Illustrator. It deals with placement of objects, both in relation to the workspace, and to the selection of many objects. The icons I clicked just now makes the object horizontally and vertically in the middle of the artboard. Alright, we came to an exciting part. Now we will learn to use the pen tool, a very versatile tool able to make shapes of your imagination. In this tutorial we will only learn the basic, maybe on future videos we will learn more on the limits and workarounds of the pen tool. Don't worry about being slow, precise shape needs patience to make. You don't have to follow my lines exactly, as long as the lines captures the general shape of the penguin, it is good enough. After we done making a general outline for the penguin, we need to add more lines to add details, otherwise the logo would just be a penguin silhouette. First let's define the fur lines. Again, you don't need to be very precise on these parts, as long as you get a general grasp on where things are. I do not try to be very precise as well, because then it would take a long time. Anyway, there is something cool on the penguin image that we will do later. At the moment, for now let's focus on task at hand. Let's select the paths we done making, and I will introduce you to Shape Builder tool. Shape Builder tool works to combine or eliminate paths to make new shapes. Now we go to Layers panel to clean up leftover paths. Often when we done using Shape Builder, paths that overlap with each other won't automatically merge to nearby shapes, making unwanted single small paths. We will clear it using Layers panel, then finding it manually because it's hard to spot and often hidden behind other paths. Now, let's select the shape. Using the eyedropper tool we will color the shapes one by one. Tip is to represent a part of the penguin accurately. Get the dominant color on the area for that shape color. Let's make a circle. Our goal is to make the circle the border of the logo and the penguin will be inside of it. The circle height should be 1.5 of the penguin. Lock the circle. Now let's make something interesting from the penguin shape in original image. First duplicate the shape group by pressing copy, then Ctrl and F. Then use Pathfinder and press Unite. If you done it correctly, there should be two penguins on the Layers panel, one black and white, and the other one is a whole shape with one color. Now we will hide the black and white penguin shape for a moment. Let's select the one whole shape in the original image, Then right-click and choose Make Clipping Map. Now let's play with the clip layer opacity properties. The lower the value, the less visible the layers are. When the value is 100%, then the layer will have a very solid color without invisibility. On transparency window, there are some options regarding layer modes. I'm not much knowledgeable about layer modes, and since our image is black and white, the change isn't much, but every layer mode does something different to layer with colors that makes for some cool, interesting effect when used together with opacity. Feel free to experiment what you think makes the penguin look the best. Let's group them together. Soon we will modify the background on the penguin so it has strokes surrounding it. Now let's unlock other circle we duplicate and make it white. We have come a long way. It's a good time to save our project on File, Save as option. Copy the bottom layer with the pattern. On the lowest layer, change the fill to a black solid color. Now our base background is done. After this we will add some text and some shapes later on. Now let's add some interesting lines on our stroke. Instead of going directly to stroke, let's go to Appearance menu that looks like a sun. Click on the stroke there. Anyway, what is the difference by editing on Properties versus on Appearance? Properties only has one stroke, but on Appearance it is possible to add multiple strokes, each with its own properties and color. Also you can view effects you added, although effects is not covered in this video. Let's dive on to Appearance. On this part we will learn how to make the text on top left of the poster like in the thumbnail in the beginning of the video. We will use Open Sans Recolor with 48 pt size. Or TWCent font. Well, it does not matter if you want to use any other font since what we will do works for every font. Sorry if you see any problem I am dealing on the video. Illustrator menus does not appear correctly, it seems, if you don't use your native resolution. I make my display resolution lower, so people with laptops and smaller screens still can see clearly what I am doing. It is also makes it less resource heavy to edit. I hope you can follow through to the end, despite some mistakes with voiceovers and editing. Now here comes the interesting part. We will make about 1/3 to 1/2 of the text partially invisible, to get the look we are going for. Instead of clipping mask, we will create another type of mask we call transparency or opacity mask, which we will apply using transparency panel. Drag the line in the middle to move the gradient, click on the black box on top of the gradient line to make the gradient line longer or shorter. Hover mouse near black box on top of gradient line until rotate icon appears to rotate. Here I was trying to find the right gradient for me that has the right transparency. On the gradient box on gradient panel, clicking anywhere on that box will summon a dot. If you double click on that dot, you can change its color and it will affect the gradient. To delete a dot, click on the dot and press trash can icon. After aligning the text and putting it in the corner top left, we are going to make some shapes with a twist. We will learn how to use shape blending to make a transition effect between two different shapes, although there is a catch. Shape blending cannot be used to blend a simple basic shape to complicated shapes made by pen tool. On this part of the tutorial we will make a transition from a triangle to basic diamond shape. What we used just now is Object, Blend, and choose Make. We can customize this blend back on Blend menu, but this time choose Blend Options Spacing. Specified steps. Now we can manually input how many shapes does it takes for our triangle to turn into our diamond shape. Now we have made a duplicate of the blend shapes. We are going flip it upside down. To do that, go to Object, Transform, and choose Reflect. The Reflect command is to flip an object left to right or upside down. Let's swap the second blend object fill and stroke. We do it so both sides have a slightly different look. Also we are going to play with blend options specified steps again to give the blend shape on the right slightly more crowded look. However, feel free to specify as many steps as you want if you want another look you prefer. We are nearing completion. Now let's add some text to the lower side of the poster. The font Illustrator MT will be provided with download link on the description. We will learn how to use types paragraph and text wrap along with bits of pieces of useful info for the text tool. On Window menu, go to Type and find Tabs. Now here, we are going to define how much space will a tab made. Make sure the left justified tab is selected. The X is the value of space in points. I think about 14 pt is good. Let's move on to the next type sub tool. If you are wondering why we cut the P out from the text is, because a text wrap applies to the whole text. If we want to make a drop cap in which a character in the very first word of the text bigger, we need to separate it into another separate text layer. I think 29 pt is a good size to cover 2 lines. Now let's go to Object, Text Wrap, and click Make. Offset is the value of the border size of text layer. Because there is a border, there will always be a gap of the size of that value when we place a text next to each other. To make the text able to get closer together, we have to reduce the offset value. I think our poster so far looks good. After grouping the text together, we are going to make one last element to enrich our poster. We will be making grid lines that is half visible to add more visual. While doing that, we will learn about the transform, move action. After that, we will cover one more utility tool that is very versatile for making a design, and lastly export the poster into PNG format suitable for sharing online. Let's group the lines together, then let's prepare a rectangle that we can fill with a gradient for our transparency mask. Remove the stroke of the rectangle and let's go to transparency, click on the gradient bar and adjust it together. Make sure the black color of the gradient on the point is true black. If it's not true black, then the part of the grid that was supposed to be transparent would look like it lacks transparency. Don't worry if the grid is bigger than the artboard. We can set it up in export so the final image only show what is inside the artboard. Also you can control the sharpness of the exported image on export menu, which I will expand upon later. There is a little bit more of cosmetic that we could apply to the penguin logo. In this part I will teach you how to make star-like object using a circle with plucker and bloat effect. Now we are ready to use the final tool. Unlock all the locked layer because we are going to modify every color available on the artboard without going to each layer properties one by one using this Recolor artwork tool. Sorry for changing the resolution near the final part of the video. As you can see, the font picker and Recolor artwork does not work when it is not set on your native resolution. I hope it does not cause problem on following this tutorial. Let's click on Advanced Options, and we see under Current Colors is a collection of colors we used in our poster. Click the folder icon to save our palette in case we change colors into ones we don't want to, or if we experiment with the colors too much. Just double-click to add a color. To swap color, just swap the little color boxes on the right by dragging it. Press cancel on the window bottom to return to original colors again. Reminder, closing the box by canceling changes will not save our palette. To save our palette you have to choose OK. Double-click to change to a specific color. Only small color boxes can be selected. The long color bar function is just to show the original colors. Using the drop down here, you can change colors to another palette that was readily made by Illustrator. Although the placement of the color from the new palette you select will be random. Okay, now let's export this. In the meantime you can pause and play with Recolor artwork until you find something really like. Export to PNG on the Save as Type option. Enable Use Artboard so anything outside of the artboard won't be exported. Here there are resolution setting. You can increase up to 300 ppi. I think 72 ppi is enough unless you want to print to A2 or A1 sized papers. On the other hand, 4 ppi is too low, unless you want to make a pixelated icon. Set anti-aliasing to art optimized, because we want Illustrator to make the shapes look sharp. Only use type optimize if your poster is a typographic poster. Background setting is useful to set to transparent if you are making a logo or an icon that does not need a background. Illustrator actually does not count the artboard as part of the layers, so if you don't have a shape behind your design, just the background, setting background as white or black will make that color your background. That's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed watching and learn new things. Please comment, like, and give feedback. If you want me to cover additional things for future videos.